Hi, it's Will Taylor with Celebrate with Strings Attached. Today, I'm bringing you a very, very close friend who I've known for over 30 years. He's a cellist, a bassist. He's a mainstay on the Austin music scene. He plays wonderful solo cello for private events and weddings. And today we're going to talk about how he arranges music for his clients and how he provides what he says is an indelible experience. An experience that will be remembered for many, many years. So I'm talking about cellist Steve Bernal. So sit back, relax, enjoy this interview with Steve Bernal. And again, my wish for you is that you have the most beautiful, loving, connected wedding or event, and that you have memories from the music for years to come. So when you need music for a wedding or special event, make sure you go to Celebrate with Strings Attached. We got you covered. Here's Steve Bernal.
Hello, I'm Steve Bernal. I'm a professional cellist here in Austin, Texas, and I would love to be a part of your special event, your special occasion, your wedding. I have lots of beautiful music to share with you, and the cello helps you create and provide an indelible ambience to any situation or occasion. I specialize in playing solo cello, and I do arrangements of pop songs, for example, and I'd be happy to arrange a favorite song or two of yours for your special day. I came to Austin in 1984. I've been here for 30 years now, and I've made many great friends, had many great experiences all across the board, played all kinds of music. I played bass in a band called Joe Rockhead. I played bass in the Killer Bees. My first professional gig was playing bass for a band leader named Dan Del Santo in the mid-'80s. And since then I've done many things. I have played and toured and recorded with Alejandro Escovedo, Monty Montgomery, Trish Murphy, an Argentine artist named Federico Albel for a few years in the early 2000s, and I was cellist in the Temple Symphony Orchestra for a few years, and many other things. The cello is particularly suited for solo arrangements for many reasons, not least of which is the possibility for harmony and the range of the instrument, the low notes, the mid-range, the high range, and many other effects that you can get. And the cello can also be strummed like a guitar, which makes a very familiar sort of sound to most listeners. Among many other techniques and textures and sounds. For example, options, you know, using the like kind of a self-accompaniment with bass line and melody. I'm originally a bassist, specifically a rock and roll electric bassist, and in general, and from childhood. But during the course of learning that instrument and being exposed to the various forms of rock and roll, and led into my exploration of jazz as a teenager, and many other idioms later on, Latin music, reggae music, various tropical and African rhythms and whatnot, and just the infinity of music itself is basically what led me to the cello at some point about 15 years ago. Simply, I was curious, and I always loved the sound of the instrument. I always loved the sound of this note. It's my favorite one.
The C sharp?
Yeah. C sharp, the low C sharp on the cello. I think with the way that I can arrange favorite pieces of music, whether it's a pop song or a traditional, more classical or folk tune, for example, for the instrument is my affinity towards the rhythmic aspect of music and the sort of harmonic link that the bass is from the rhythm to the melody. You know, it's basically the musical glue in any sort of situation. And the cello provides that with this range in general, and you can juxtapose it along, you know, with the upper range of the instrument as much as you can, and that's just what makes it almost infinite to me. And I like to explore the edges of those boundaries and make as much music as I can. What has kept me in Austin, probably more than anything, is the diversity of the music, the density of it, and the potential to learn so many different styles. I consider myself to be about as versatile as I can be, I should say, because of that diversity, because of that density in the scene itself. You're just surrounded by so much all of the time, and it's a wonderful experience, and I'm a curious person, and so it works. I love playing weddings and special events, intimate special events for people who appreciate music and not only listen to it, but really understand it. And what I've noticed a lot of the times during the course of a wedding, because it's such an emotional event and so intimate, it seems as though I'm usually able to push those emotions right up to the surface of the audience, if you will, or the listeners, or usually it's the friends and family that are gathered for the wedding itself. And that's the biggest response I get, is that, in a nutshell, to put it in physical terms, it's usually remarked to me after a ceremony, for example, that I've made everybody cry. And I'd like to think that I'm only a small part of that, because, you know, usually I'm playing music that was written by someone else, and it's just a matter of my interpretation at the time. And responding to the beauty of the instrument itself, and doing it solo too, is that I can respond to any change in situation right then and there, as long as I'm paying attention and open and receptive to any potential change. You know, so maybe someone makes a mistake, or someone is late, or someone's rushing. You know, and I can respond right then and there. And usually, I can do it in such a way to influence the response to a particular mishap, for example, and it seems to work. You know, I don't know if it's me or the cello, but I think it's really the cello that puts everyone at ease. Oftentimes, when I'm approached by a potential client, they're not really sure what they want. The wedding is sometime in the future, we're planning way ahead, usually months in advance, and they just haven't gotten to that point with the details yet, especially the music, and that's where I can help them. I can sort of guide them, because I have a pretty large repertoire now of solo cello music, and there have been times when I've just picked up my cello and put my phone down and played excerpts for them over the phone, for example. And usually I just give them a list of choices, and then they go and do a little research on their own and pick what they like, and we make a program from that. And then I'll also add that I'm willing to arrange, you know, a piece or two to add to that list, and that's how it works.
Awesome.
Pretty simple. I do outdoor and indoor. I haven't done an underwater wedding yet. I'm Steve Bernal. I'm a professional cellist here in Austin, Texas, and I would love to be a part of your event, your wedding, any kind of special occasion that you may be celebrating, and I'm looking for beautiful music.